Besides being one of the big names in music even after his death, Tupac knew how to enjoy his fortune while alive. But have you ever stopped to think about how this rapper really lived? In this video, you will discover everything about what Tupac's life was like. Tupac Amaru Shakur was born in June 1971 in New York and grew up between Baltimore and California. His career began in the early 90s as a dancer and rapper for the group Digital Underground, but it was with his solo album, Apocalypse Now, in 1991 that he gained attention, addressing social themes, such as police brutality and racism. His second album, Strictly For My Nigga, released in 1993, brought him even more recognition. But his greatest success came with Me Against the World. In 1995, an album recorded while Tupac was imprisoned. It became one of the first records in history to top the Billboard charts, even with the artist behind bars. Shortly after, he signed with Death Row Records and released All Eyes on Me in 1996, one of the best-selling rap albums of all time. His music mixed poetic lyricism and political messages, consolidating his influence in hip-hop. Tupac also had a career in cinema, starring in films like Juice, 1992, and Above the Rim, 1994. However, his journey was marked by controversies, rivalries, and a violent environment. On September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, and 6 days later, he passed away at only 25 years old, a life cut short, but a legacy that never died. Even years later, unreleased songs continued to be launched, keeping his spirit alive, and his influence still visible in countless contemporary artists. In 2024, new controversies involving Diddy's name once again pointed toward Tupac's death, raising the question of possible involvement. A truly difficult situation, isn't it? So, shall we learn more about the life of this great artist? Tupac Shakur, despite his short life, owned some iconic properties. One of the best known was his house in Woodland Hills, California, acquired in 1995, shortly before his death. The property, located in a quiet Los Angeles neighborhood, was a spacious mansion of approximately 550 square meters, with 6 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. It featured a classic California architectural style, luxurious decor, and elements inspired by 90s hip-hop. The house was sold and resold several times over the years, always maintaining a high value in the real estate market. In 2023, its average price was around $2.6 million. In addition to the Woodland Hills mansion, Tupac lived in other rented residences throughout his career in Los Angeles, mainly during his partnership with Death Row Records. He also spent much of his early life in New York during the 80s, though little is known about his exact residence there. Tupac Shakur was known for his extravagant style and impressive spending. After signing with Death Row in 1995, he began living a life of luxury. One of his most iconic items was his solid gold chain with a Machiavelli pendant, valued at $100,000 at the time. He also owned several Rolex and Cartier watches, as well as diamond-encrusted rings. In addition to jewelry, Tupac spent large amounts on parties and gifts for friends. He was generous, often giving money to fans in need and supporting philanthropic causes. A true fashion enthusiast, he bought designer clothes from Versace and Karl Kani, spending over $30,000 on single shopping trips. Despite his love for luxury and generosity, many believe Tupac did not have time to consolidate his fortune before his death, as much of his income was quickly spent or reinvested in his career. We'll find out more about this next. Tupac Shakur traveled to several places during his career, mainly for recordings, tours, and events. One of his favorite destinations was Las Vegas, where he attended boxing matches and luxurious parties. The last trip of his life was to that very city, where he went to see the Mike Tyson vs. Bruce Seldon fight at the MGM Grand. He was likely staying in a luxury suite estimated at $5,000 per night. He spent his final hours there, before the tragic shooting. Another destination close to his heart was Hawaii, where he traveled in 1994. He reportedly stayed in 5-star hotels with daily rates between $800 and $3,500. Even without long international tours, Tupac promoted his music and enjoyed the pleasures of luxury whenever possible. Tupac had a passion for luxury cars and owned an impressive collection for his time. One of his most iconic vehicles was the black 1996 BMW 750iL, valued at $100,000, the same car he was in the night he was shot in Las Vegas. Another prized vehicle was the Hummer H1, a powerful and exclusive model worth $60,000, which he purchased shortly before his death. Among his other cars were a Mercedes-Benz SL500 valued at $90,000 and a Jaguar, both of which he often drove through California. He also owned a Rolls-Royce Corniche, the ultimate status symbol of the 90s, priced around $130,000. Beyond cars, Tupac also used other luxury transport. He frequently rented private jets for quick trips between cities, at $5,000 to $10,000 per flight hour. He was also seen riding a custom Harley-Davidson, valued at $20,000, reflecting his rebellious style. Although he didn't own yachts, he often rented luxury boats to relax, with rates around $15,000 per day. Even in a short life, Tupac experienced the very best that money could buy, solidifying his image as a true hip-hop and luxury icon. Though remembered primarily as one of the greatest rappers of all time, Tupac also had an entrepreneurial vision. Even with a short career, he diversified his income and engaged in various ventures. One of his best-known projects was Machiavelli Branded, a clothing line, launched posthumously in 2003 by his family, inspired by his alter ego, Machiavelli. It sold t-shirts, caps, and jackets celebrating his legacy. Before his death, Tupac had also shown interest in founding his own record label, Euthanasia, to manage his music and support new talent. He dreamed of expanding into cinema, creating a production company that would tell stories about marginalized communities. Outside of entertainment, Tupac profited from brand partnerships and fashion influence. He helped popularize names like Karl Kani, Versace, and Tommy Hilfiger, which grew massively thanks to his style. Even after his death, his brand continued to generate millions annually through posthumous releases, licensing, and merchandising. Tupac wasn't just an artist, he was a visionary businessman in the making. At the time of his death, however, his finances were complicated. Despite selling millions of albums and touring worldwide, much of his wealth was tied up or controlled by Death Row Records. At his career's peak, Tupac signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Suge Knight, which covered his expenses, homes, cars, and security. But after his death in 1996, it was revealed that Tupac didn't own many assets in his name. His estate had to renegotiate royalties and recover rights to his music to secure his family's future. It's estimated that Tupac generated over $60 million during his lifetime. Yet at the time of his death, he had less than $100,000 in his account, a result of unfair contracts and a lavish lifestyle. After his death, his mother, Tupac Shakur, took control of his estate and transformed his legacy into a global empire. With posthumous albums, documentaries, and licensed products, Tupac's fortune grew enormously. Today, his estate is valued at over $40 million. Hey, you liked the video? Then don't forget to leave your like, drop a comment, and share your suggestions for our next videos. We'll make sure to bring you all the stories that satisfy your curiosity about the lives of legends.